What's going on, YouTube? My name is ginj-tcg, or Chris, and today I'm back with a crazy rogue deck video. And today, we are going to be playing Ceruledge EX. With the Abyssal Flames attack, you do 30 damage plus 20 more damage for each energy in your discard pile. So, when you're playing a deck like this, where you have 18 energy, you can swing for one-shot KOs, honestly, in the mid-game, insanely early, especially against basic EX decks, such as Terra Box, and more importantly, the Joltik box, which is doing insanely well right now. Since we are a fire attacker, we can also take down the Goldengo matchup fairly consistently, since we are swinging for weakness and can keep pace with it with no problem. One of the other nice things about this deck is we do have a good single prize attack option in Fan Rotom. With the Assault Landing attack and playing 3 stadiums in the deck, which I'll get into in a minute, we can do 70 damage to our opponent's Pokemon with just 1 energy, and then we can use that to KO our opponent's Pokemon in Gardevoir EX, which is crucial because they play a lot of single prize Pokemon that can just blow up your board. So using a single prize Pokemon to kind of disrupt and keep the consistent prize trade is very, very solid, especially when they're playing Artisan all the time. Now, the other nice thing about Fan Rotom is you get Fan Call, which almost guarantees that you're starting with the Charcadet in this deck. Since we're playing 4 Charcadet, and then past that, we've only got 5 other Pokemon that are not Charcadet. So we almost have a 50% chance to lead this Pokemon. Now, with Fan Call, we can search our deck for 3 normal Pokemon with less than 100 HP, which means we can take out the Ditto with Transformative Start as its ability. So we can then use probably the energy that we're starting with, because there's 18 of them in the deck, and more likely than not, we're getting an energy. We can use that to retreat any Pokemon in this deck, since they're all 1 retreat Pokemon, with the exception of Ceruledge, which, remember, isn't in our hand yet because it's our first turn. And then we can use Transformative Start to discard Ditto and then put a Charcadet down. So we're almost guaranteeing that going first in this meta means we can attack on our second turn, and since we're going first, we don't have to worry about playing an insane amount of items. We don't need Buddy Poffins to get going. We can just get 1 Charcadet down, start putting on early pressure, which then buys us time to use our 4 Carmines and our 3 Professor's Research to dig out other Charcadets. Now, remember, this whole Fan Rotom play was without using Carmine on that first turn, so I feel like this deck really does specialize in going first, just getting these little Charcadets out, and even if you're going second, that's fine, because you do 20 damage for just 1 energy, and when you account for weakness, you can one-shot Badoo in case your opponent is putting you under item lock. You know, they put that Badoo in the active, you're going second, maybe they're like, hey, I'm going to put that item lock pressure, how are you going to respond? You know, maybe we just got Fan Rotom in the active, they don't know we're playing, boom, we just go in with Charcadet, hit for 40, take the KO, and if we don't, we'll just swing for 20, get some good chip damage done, so Abyssal Flames can clutch up. Now, for the stadiums in the deck, they are a little confusing, and I know they initially seem counterproductive, so please let me explain like the mindset, kind of why I was rolling with them. One of them is Pokemon League Headquarters, which I know makes basic Pokemon in play, both yours and your opponents, need 1 energy more to attack, which sounds awful, because you're like, oh, but you just said Fan Rotom was such a good attacker, and now it's a basic attacker that needs 2 energy that's infinitely worse, and I'd say, yes, you're right, but the deck that this is working to counter is the Joltik box. With Pikachu EX, Pikachu can swing for 300 damage, cleaning up a KO on Ceruledge very, very easily. So if you could get Pokemon League Headquarters down while taking a KO on another Pokemon, or the Pikachu, you know, if you could boss it up, and we're playing 2 copies of Boss's Orders, 3 gear, and 1 Pal Pad to just keep recycling things like Boss's Orders, Turo, and Briar. But more importantly, you know, if you could boss it up, get some good damage on it, and while playing Pokemon League Headquarters using your Ceruledge, you'll force Pikachu to need another energy. And in a deck like Joltik Box, where energy is generally applied in the beginning of the match, and then hard to move around after that. I mean, yes, they have Crispin, but, you know, it's going to be hard to maneuver around, especially when you're probably Crispining, to get just the 3 energy needed to attack. So using Pokemon League Headquarters can help that matchup significantly. The other tool, or stadium, which we're playing in the deck, is Jamming Tower, which shuts down all Pokemon tool effects in play, which I know we're playing 3 tools. We got Bravery Charm, Rescue Board, and Rigid Band, which I'll get into, like, you know, the reasons we're playing them in a minute. But in general, when you're up against Gardevoir, at some point your opponent is going to need to charm up on Screamtails, charm up on Drifloom, and that can disrupt the prize trade pretty bad. Especially if they're taking big KOs on Ceruledge EX, or even trying to snipe the Fezandipiti on the bench. So when you play Jamming Tower, after your opponent has used that Gardevoir setup and gotten a bunch of damage down on the Drifloom to attack, or the Screamtails to attack and take the KO, you play the Jamming Tower, and they KO themselves. And when you're playing a deck like Ceruledge, I feel like not often is that what you're accounting for when you're playing Gardevoir, so it could sneak up and take just 1 huge single prize KO, and then you could clean up with Fan Rotom, you could go in with Ceruledge, and try to get back on top of the prize trade. Now, I feel like these stadiums are kind of crucial to play just with the popularity of those two decks, and I feel like when you play around them, yes, I know they do hinder the deck in some ways, but I feel like if you could account for that and play around them, you don't always have to play them down. You know, maybe you're playing Dragapult EX and you really don't need to hold on to the league headquarters. That's fine. Dragapult plays a couple stadiums. They play an Artisan. You don't have to bump it once the stadium is played, and boom, you get your Fan Rotom back. But in general, I feel like, you know, when you're paying attention to these stadiums and being mindful of what you're playing against, these don't hinder you that much because you don't need to play them to make your deck function. They're just here to help you in some weird matchups. Now, for the tools, we're playing one Bravery Charm, which can beef up HP, and when you put it on something like Genesect, which has 110 HP, that can really help out in the Dragapult matchup specifically, since 2 Phantom Dives can get enough damage counters down on Genesect to take the KO and then allow them to use their Ace spec. So putting Bravery Charm on Genesect gives it more HP to buy you more turns with your opponent not using their Ace spec unless they boss up Genesect. Same thing on Fezandipiti. By putting the charm on Fezandipiti, you can beef up the Fezandipiti to 260, so it becomes much less of an easier option to deal with than just dealing with the active Ceruledge EX in the active. And now, if there's less value in taking this KO, you can draw 3 with Flip the Script, since that's our only draw engine, hopefully for more turns. Now, playing Rescue Board, especially on Genesect, is kind of nice, because if your opponent bosses it up to try to stall a turn, you just got the free or cheap pivot off it. But in general, Rescue Board fits well on Fezandipiti, Rotom, and Genesect. And all of these tools on Genesect, might I add, help with the Ace Nullifier ability, where you just shut down your opponent's Ace specs from being played from their hand. So if you can get this down early game, you know, use an Ultra Ball on it, smack a tool down, it really, really does help a ton. And we've got an insane amount of draw between Carmine and Research to actually make that play kind of possible in the early game, especially if it's before you've taken a KO, since many decks are choosing their own unfair stamp at the moment. Now, what's nice about Ace Nullifier, it doesn't matter if the tool actually has an effect. So if you're playing Jamming Tower and there's still a tool on Genesect, you're fine. They still can't play an Ace spec. So I don't feel like Jamming Tower can hurt Genesect that bad. The Rigid Band is really just there to help beef up Ceruledge. I feel like, honestly, in this format, Rigid Band might not necessarily be the best tool to play. I feel like the 30 damage less that's taken from Rigid Band is helpful in certain matchups that are two-shotting it, such as maybe like Terrabox or something like that. But in general, this can totally be subbed out for another Bravery Charm I've gotten great value out of, or if there's some other tool, I'm totally open to trying out some other ones in the comments, especially ones that kind of help out with that disruption type play with Ceruledge, just feeding off its pure consistency to do well in this slow format. For our A-Spec, we're playing Legacy Energy to try to also make one of these Ceruledge EXs a single prize attacker, which can be insanely devastating since it's got 270 HP and can take 2 prize cards very, very easily. Now for the rest of the deck, we're playing 1 copy of Turo, so if your opponent doesn't actually take a one-shot KO on a Ceruledge, you can just pick it up, put it back into your hand, discard the energy attached, and just start setting up another Ceruledge. Since it's just an attached swing type of deck, it's not too hard to reset up after Turo, and since we're playing 1 copy of Pal Pad, you could try to go for that play twice. When your opponent is putting a lot of effort into KOing Ceruledge and they failed that, and you're forcing them to redo it, you could get ahead in the prize trade insanely easily. Now the last card that I don't think I've really talked about much in the deck is Briar. Since we're playing all Terra Pokemon for our attackers, with the exception of maybe Fan Rotom, we might as well just play Briar. So if our opponent has exactly 2 prize cards remaining and we can manipulate the prize trade very well with Legacy Energy and our options of 1 and 2 prize attackers, we can use Briar to take an extra prize card and hopefully close out the game that way. Now, for the most part, this is honestly one of my favorite quick decks to run right now on the ladder. I feel like the matches are closed out pretty quick. It's a ton of fun. It's relatively simple to play. I mean, I think aside from like the stadiums and tools and kind of knowing when and where to place those, it's really just a, hey, I'm gonna research your Carmine, attach an energy, swing, you're gonna figure it out. So your game kind of just plays itself, and I feel like in the slowed down format we're in, the stage 2 dominated slow format, although we might not be swinging for one-shot KOs on the stage 2 Pokemon in the easiest ways, we can hopefully gust up the Fezandipitis and the Squawkabillies and the Mew EXs on the bench, take 2 prize cards that way, and work around it. And I know we're only playing 2 bosses orders, but between the 3 Pokégears and the 1 Pal Pad, I feel like we could still draw out the bosses orders to make those plays happen. And just the fact that we're so consistent, we really don't mind it. We love going first. We really don't mind going second. We're not slowed down by it too much at all. I think says a lot on how this deck can kind of bring the turbo, bring the hyper pace back to the format that a lot of people love, and I think against a lot of decks that are doing well right now, this one actually swings pretty well. So yeah, I mean, let's hop into today's video and see how well Ceruledge EX can do. Welcome to match number 1. We're up against Hops Zacian, which honestly could be a bit of a problematic matchup for now. I am just gonna, or not matchup, just turn 1. We're gonna rip the Carmine, and I really just need some sort of basic Pokemon to make this work. Fan Rotom is exactly that. So I think here we're going to go with the Fan Call. We're going to try to pull out, I mean, we do have Ditto and Fan Rotom. I might as well take both into my hand. Now here's what's insanely annoying. I do have an energy. However, I really don't want to use that to retreat into Ditto and get a second Charcadet down. I don't know if that's going to be the best option for us. I really don't want to lose the Legacy Energy. I'm kind of wishing I just attached an energy from my active Charcadet with my last turn. Because we can only use Ditto on our first turn. So I really do want to get it into the active so I can pull off 2 Charcadets, and I think in a matchup like this, although I know someone is going to scream at me that this is the absolute worst play I ever could have made, I think we're comfortable enough where we're going to get more value out of just having 2 Charcadets and being able to go in with these guys very, very easily right now. So we'll get this done, and I'll hold the hand. I mean, we have a phenomenal hand. Research Fez, another Fan Rotom I could play. I really don't need to, and Jamming Tower helps out a whole lot. And like I said, you know, this matchup we're fine in. We're good in the metal matchups. We're good in the grass matchups. You know, we do well against Teal Mask Ogerpon, against Hobbsation, even our Chaladin if we get swing or, you know, boss up around, you know, their attack that stops them from getting hit affected by weakness. So, you know, we're all right. And I think, honestly, this deck is pretty well positioned in the format right now. If they don't get anything down, I really didn't need to get that, what do you call it? Legacy Energy in the discard pile, but hey, I mean, I wanted to prepare. I didn't know they were playing like a Frostlass Monkey Dory type build, so I feel like it's better to prepare and be ready for anything than not. So we'll get the energy down on Charcadet. I will bench the Fezandipiti just in case. I'm not going to play the Fan Rotom. I will, however, smack down Jamming Tower just because we could see that Hop's Choice Band or Hop's Choice Belt, whatever it is, come down into play, and we'll get a great hand for us. We are going to Earthen Vessel away in energy, take 2 more energy. Like I said, we just want to discard as many energy as possible. As quickly as possible. Also, Pokemon League headquarters is going to go nuts in this matchup. We don't have a tool in hand, do we? No. Okay. I was going to say, we could take Genesect, although it's probably better for us to just take Ceruledge. We have, what, 7 energy? Yeah, we're swinging for KO because of weakness. 340 already. Oh, my gosh. So what are we swinging for? 170? Turn 2. Our first attack, we're swinging 170 damage. This is KO and Squawkabilly. That is nuts. Or even a Teal Mask Ogerpon, if that's what was in the active. 2 Pokemon that are seen in a lot of decks. Or a single prize Pokemon. Because most decks take time to evolve, get going now. So that's probably 1 to 2 prize cards in most turns. Which is nice. And also, I just wanted to say, I'm sorry that my intro was so long. I didn't realize it was like 9 minutes. I was just going on about this deck for longer than I thought. I think because I'm really into this deck right now. I think it's actually in a really good spot, and I think it actually has a solid bit of competitive potential that is worth, you know, looking into it and having some fun with. Now, with that being said, I'm totally open to ways to make this deck better. I am running it a lot, and my opponent just passes for turn. Well, that is not what I expected. I think here I want to what? Look into Pokégear? Yeah, my opponent is clearly confused about what happened. Yeah, we just take the boss's orders, no? And maybe we just boss around the Cram. I mean, I don't even mind a KO on the Cram. How much are we swinging for? It's 170, right? It doesn't feel that bad. I don't want to research. I don't really feel the need to. Oh, they didn't have the energy on Cram. Oh my god, I'm so used to them just having the tool on Cram, so they're able to take the KO, that right now when they don't have the tool, I'm like, oh my gosh, why didn't they attack? They didn't have an energy down. That is nuts. Okay, well, if that's the case, then I'll just swing 170, keep the boss's orders. I can boss up maybe Snorlax, no, I don't know, something else problematic. But right now it seems that we are just piling down, doubling down on the pure consistency I was talking about in this build, you know, making it go to work. We got the Jet Energy, which could be a good attached to Fan Rotom. We got a Stadium down. We could take out Snow Run. Could be a potential option if I don't want to deal with the Latias at the moment. And no, they get the Frostlass down, which is okay. I mean, that'll put some good damage on Fan Rotom and Fezandipiti. Not the end of the world. I am fairly confident that I could just boss up Monkey Dory and stop that from being as useful to my opponent. And then it'll just be an easy, research KO on Latias. Just get all the energy in the discard pile. I mean, even honestly, researching right now doesn't feel that bad. If they leave Latias in the active, I just, research the hand. Probably get another Ceruledge. I can dig out Pal Pad, put the Briar back, and one of the boss's orders, if needed. Honestly, double boss might even just be better. No, my opponent retreats into Snorlax, and they just pass for Freezing Shroud to do some work. Honestly, I think here we do boss up Monkey Dory. I'll take a Rigid Band all day. Smack that down here. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like Monkey Dory is the biggest threat. If you could set up Snorlax with the negative cards in your hand, go for it. Not too worried about it, but yeah, I mean, you guys were watching right now how Ceruledge, a lot of decks can't keep up with this sort of pace. I think some of the few that are like Goldengo, but I think our ability to kind of be more consistent off the first turn setup and need less energy in the discard pile because we're swinging for weakness. Now you guys saw here, right? If my opponent was playing Goldengo and they just keep going in with multiple Goldengos, what was stopping me from researching that turn? Setting up multiple Pokemon, getting another Charcadet down, and just dealing with their 2 prize metal Pokemon easier and faster than they can probably deal with my 2 prize fire Pokemon, especially when we take into account stuff like Legacy Energy and whatnot. We could just make stuff happen. My opponent is going to pass for turn. Sadly, unless they top deck Pal Pad, I was going to say I'm not going to get a chance at boss's order, so I think our play here is just to disrupt their stadium with Pokemon League headquarters, research the hand away. I mean, we really don't need anything else. I think we're far enough ahead where we are golden, and this is as good a hand as you can ask for. We got the rescue board onto Genesect, so now my opponent cannot play any ace specs from their hand, of which they have not played yet. I can attach the energy to Charcadet, just set up all 3 of these guys, get them ready to rumble, and boom, 230. My opponent I have 1 prize card left. I'm swinging for KO on everything that my opponent has in play. I don't think there is a way around this, and this is what I mean about this deck just being hey, I'm gonna research and I'm gonna play my game at a solid pace. I'm not necessarily swinging for one shot against everything. Like, there's gonna be some times where you're playing against Dragapult and you just swing 230 down, which is fine. If your opponent can't respond quick enough, consistently enough, there's gonna be a lot of problems. That can hurt the deck a bit, and they're gonna get the Hobbs Choice Band down with Zacian. They could even go in with Blood Moon Ursaluna. It actually would work to KO my active, since we do have 210 HP left. We do bump up to 240 if you account for Rigid Band, but that is how much my opponent is swinging for. And I lied, still need an energy to pull off the Blood Moon Ursaluna play, because Pokemon League headquarters is just clutch like that. So we'll be alright. My opponent is just going to pass for turn with Freezing Shroud, which means I think, might be doing enough to KO. No, we're doing 230. You know what I could do, actually, just to make sure, is we just attach both to Ceruledge, I think. Yeah, we would have been, what, 1 damage, 10 damage short, even counting for the Freezing Shroud, so we just attach, retreat, swing, boom. Match number 1, insanely fast. Thank you guys for tuning into it. Let's hop into match number 2 and see if we could keep this insane pace going. Welcome to match number 2. I know we were here a second early. I am going to choose to go first. I feel like this deck is insane going first, but I just want to remind everyone that the Battle VIPs podcast has its own YouTube channel now. So if you're looking for a way to bolster your competitive experience, whether you're an experienced player, a new player, doesn't matter. The Battle VIP podcast is there for you to, help all of us together learn, grow, dive into the regionals that are going on, the meta, how it's evolving, some solid decks. We'll go over some fun lists. We play an awesome game, Who's That Pokemon? It is co-hosted by my boy Avery. He is an awesome guy to listen to. He is super knowledgeable about the game. And yeah, we've got our own channel now for the podcast, so make sure you go give it a listen. This is an interesting hand, I have to say. Now, we do have the Ultra Ball to get out Fan Rotom, then we can get out the Ditto, since we can see if it's in the deck. We have the energy to retreat, and this is kind of what I mean about this deck just kind of working. Even though we're going first, and this looks like a pretty rough hand. We got Carmine, Ultra Ball, boom, we're good to go, and we're up against Hops, Zacian. We get a Charcadet off the top. They have phenomenal top deck. So here I think I am going to Ultra Ball away these 2 supporters, since I am going to play Carmine at some point. And we've got the Ditto, the Fan Rotom. I'm just going to take them out now. Legacy Energy is the only thing I'll take a glance for, and we got it. Alright, hey, good enough for me. So with that, actually, the attach retreat play would be kind of rough, because then we probably won't be able to get Ditto in the active spot. So I think here I'm just going to attach the energy to Genesect. I'm going to Carmine, see if I can naturally draw. Oh, wait, no. Wait, I retreat into Ditto. I use Fan Rotom. What was I thinking? Oh, my gosh, Chris, you're going insane. We use Fan Call to take out the Ditto, and then we retreat into Ditto. I don't know why I was thinking in my head I had to retreat into Fan Rotom to use Fan Call and then get the Ditto and play. I'm like, wait, how would I ever pull that off? It's because that's not what you're doing. Good job, Chris. And boom, double Charcadet. Now, if my opponent does have the KO, I mean, it's a little annoying, but hey, I mean, we're ready for it. We got the Carmine. Will hopefully be good for the following turn. And yeah, I'd say this is good enough. We got a Ceruledge for one of these Charcadets and a Research to just get the ball rolling. And another Pokemon League headquarters. Now my opponent really needs a Stadium Bump to get the Insta-Strike play off consistently. And yeah, I forgot if there's something. No, it was the Battle VIPs podcast, which I talk about. Sorry, it just hit me that I'm like, wait, there's something I forgot to say in the intro and match 1. It was the podcast. Go check it out. Awesome plays. Yeah, alright, my opponent does have the Stadium Bump, so now it's going to be much, much easier to deal with my active Charcadet. They attach the energy, and they get the Arven for Hop's Choice Band to do 30 more damage, allowing them to do 90 with Insta Strike, and then 30 to a benched Pokemon, which, I mean, is annoying, but, I mean, I expected one of these Charcadets to get KO'd. It's not the end of the world. We only have one energy in the discard pile. Now, that could be a little annoying, but a couple Vessels, an Ultra Ball, and we will be good to go getting energy in the discard pile. We are swinging for weakness against Hops Zacian, and they're playing Zacian Duraludon. Okay, I mean, we're going to need those boss's orders that I am discarding at will, apparently. Both of them are going to be hitting the discard pile this turn alongside Briar, which could be very, very relevant this matchup. But that's fine. I mean, hey, we'll work around it. We'll do what we got to do. We got 18 energy in the deck. I feel like a lot of times it is hard to have as little energy as we have at this point in the game, but, I mean, it happens. You got to prep for it, and there's the full 120 swing since they got the extra helpings Snorlax out as well. So we'll just go in with Charcadet. Hopefully shut down their A-Spec. You know, if we could get a nice tool on Genesect, that would be awesome. I do have Pokemon League headquarters, but it won't matter too much since the Insta Strike is currently free. If we play the League headquarters, it'll go up to 1 energy, which they have in play. So that's not ideal, but it's alright, you know, it's cool. For our top deck, we are going to get Jet Energy, which is an energy I really don't mind discarding at all with research. It still boosts Abyssal Flames, but it's not a fire energy that I need to manual attach just in case, and as odd as this hand is, it could work okay. We are going to get 2 more energy in the discard pile. We're going to make sure there's a ton of energy in our hand. I don't think we're swinging for, or actually we might be swinging for KO, I'm not going to lie, because each energy is essentially 40 more damage. So we're either right there, we might be just short. We're doing 220 damage. So we are actually just short of a KO. Well, that's annoying. There's no energy in my opponent's discard. You know what? That's fine. We'll figure it out. If they KO my active, I mean, then we're probably in a bad situation. I'm actually amazed we're seeing 2 Hops decks in a row. I feel like I haven't seen Hops deck in a while. I guess it is Pacey, which could be good right now in the format. But regardless, if they don't take the KO, we got Turo. If they want to take the KO, they're going to need 3 energy for Brave Slash, which is kind of insane. And if they go in with Duraludon, never mind. They'll just need 2 more energy with Brave Slash to take the KO. Now, that's looking a little more doable. An Ultra Ball to get rid of 2 metal energies and then taking our Charcadet would spell potentially defeat for our deck. It would be pretty bad. I mean, we could make a 3 prize card comeback, I think, just because we are swinging for weakness. We're going to need the nuts, though, as a top deck since our hand's a little dead. But assuming they do, no, they go boss on Genesect, right? No on Charcadet. Okay. I was going to say, if they whiff the KO, all we do is just Turo up the Ceruledge and then just tell my opponent, hey, that was awesome. Do it one more time for me, boss. Honestly, here, I don't even hate healing the Ceruledge. They put the damage on it. Well, Tara is going to say that is not allowed. So I think we, just promote Fan Rotom, take a 2 prize KO that way? And they'll need a boss's orders, because they got a Stadium for us. We attach an energy swing, boom, we're golden. And we still keep our Pokemon, and we get an Ultra Ball. That could get me Fezandipiti, which can draw me 3 cards. I lied, it's prized. Alright, well, I'll just take another Charcadet then. Unfortunate prize card to get, but it's not the end of the world. We got some energy in hand. One of them can be attached to Fan Rotom. The next one can be attached to Charcadet the next turn, assuming that's actually necessary. But for now, we're going to Assault Landing for 70. Take the KO, and now we're tied in prize cards, which is kind of sweet. And this is why I like Fan Rotom. I mean, it doesn't look amazing. You know, at the start, it's not necessarily the most aggressive-looking attacker, but it's very pivotal and can help get you out of a lot of, like, you know, trickier situations. Now, I still don't have the tool down on Genesect, which is a little annoying. Hopefully, my opponent does not play an A-Spec this turn, because I would love to just attach an energy to Charcadet and then rip the Carmine. We'll have pretty much all of our useful supporters, being Turo, Briar, and Boss, all of our situational game-winning supporters in the discard pile, but that is nothing a Pal Pad can't fix, especially when our deck is getting smaller and smaller. You know, just the chance of drawing into that or gear to then get us the supporters of choice kind of works in our favor. So unless I get an insane top deck, and I don't necessarily know what that would be, but unless I get an insane top deck, I don't think I do anything but Carmine the next turn. I mean, I guess maybe I could Turo. My opponent really isn't taking out 2 Pokemon at once. So they'll, or actually, I guess maybe, what, do I hold the hand? I kind of like the idea of drawing more cards. Yeah, they get Fezandipiti down, that's fine. We'll deal with that when we get there. And they got the Hops Kramer down. They have not played a supporter for turn. No, they played the Arven. I lied. Okay, so maybe they don't go boss. They can't counter catcher. They need prime catcher for me to really worry. And then they can take Ceruledge. But would they even get there? They're doing 30, 60, 90. They're doing 210 damage. We have 240 HP. I don't know if there's another way, because you can only do 1 Snorlax, right? don't stack. Yeah, so you can only get one Snorlax ability to boost the damage. I think our Ceruledge will be okay, if I'm not mistaken, and they get Iron Bundle. That's annoying. I'm not gonna lie. They could rip the bundle. We don't really have an ideal Pokemon to give them off bundle. I think, right? I mean, honestly, it could even give them Ceruledge, because I don't think they have a way to KO Ceruledge. Famous last words. Yeah, they Hyper Blower. I'm gonna give them Ceruledge. I know, it's kind of insane, but I want to keep the Charcadet. I want to keep the Genesect. I don't think they could KO Ceruledge's turn, which means I'm just going to Turo it up and just tell my opponent, hey, that was awesome. Do it one more time for me. I loved that play. Yep, we're chilling. We got 30 HP left. This is why we play the one copy of Turo, man. It's decks like this, you know, you get some good chip damage down, and the Rigid Band. Oh, that's nice. I honestly might put that on Genesect right now and just stop an A-Spec. We're just going to pick up Ceruledge. No way they saw this one coming. Throw Charcadet in the active, re-bench Charcadet, get Ceruledge evolved, attach the energy to the little guy, or I guess big guy now that he's evolved. And honestly, hear me out, I'm just going Rigid Band up on the Genesect. I don't know what A-Spec you're playing. I don't want to see it. Keep it. Keep it. Rigid Band could honestly help us out this match. That's a later problem. I'm just gonna shut down their A-Spec. I feel like we're gonna get more value out of that now that we're going up in the prize trade. We still haven't seen it down. I don't want to wait too long before it'll be too late. And we got Ultra Ball to the prize cards, which is actually awesome. Now I don't know how my opponent takes a KO. So if they don't take a KO, I think I just Ultra Ball away energy and top deck, and then Carmine, and we have 2 Ceruledge. We're up a prize card. I'll be swinging for awesome damage. We're in a great spot. Great spot. They've only got 1 energy in the discard pile too, so they're going to need to, they have 11 cards in hand. They need to discard an energy, and then get Arch Aladdin down, and then manual attach, to then put on insane pressure with Arch Aladdin. We won't be swinging for weakness. We don't have any boss left, so it would be a bit annoying, and now they're just going to go for the Kramer and play again. That's fine. Because if we KO Kramer, we go back down to 2 prize cards left. I've got a great play to help me dig a little deeper, get out that Pal Pad, get those boss's orders back, and we're going to chase down Fez or Latias, honestly, either of them, for the final KO. No, my opponent's going to Iono us to a new 3. That's actually wildly annoying, because our hand was kind of nuts. And our new 3 cards, Pal Pad, Ceruledge, Jamming Tower, I'd say it's just as good. I'd say that's half of what we wanted anyways. I mean, we wanted a Ceruledge off Carmine, we wanted a Pal Pad off Carmine. I mean, I would have loved the 2 extra cards. We do need another energy for this Ceruledge that I am getting down, but hey, I mean, it's not the end of the world. We're taking a prize card because we know we're dealing with Kramer, and we know my opponent is not taking a one-shot KO here. They're just doing 180, and at this point, I think, you know, we've passed the insanely dangerous threat of it. That's all right. So let's just get Ceruledge down. Do I Pal Pad this turn? I actually don't know. I mean, we do kind of need boss's orders. I don't even mind putting Briar back in the deck, right? I mean, I might not need Briar, though, because we're taking 2 prize cards, ideally. So 2 boss would go kind of nuts, especially when my opponent might not have an insane follow-up. We've got, what, 1 Research, 3 Carmine left in the deck? Let's Pal Pad. Let's throw back in, what, 1 boss. I don't even hate taking a Research back, just because we might need to keep setting up for the rest of the game. I think we only need 1 boss's orders. We might need more time to set up, so I don't hate the Research route. So let's take that. And then I could play Jamming Tower, just in case they go for like a Hops Choice Band or something. You know, we might want to just shut that thing down. So we'll swing 170, take a prize card, hopefully Fezandipiti. Assuming my opponent can take a prize card the next turn, and we don't have much HP left, so it is definitely possible. We're going to need something to draw into, so I am going to just select my prize card, boom, Fez, flip the script. We golden. And now 1 energy, boss's orders, could be what we need to close out the game. We are in a bit of a dangerous spot, because a boss for my opponent, once I play Fez, could actually be really, really problematic. But if I draw into Legacy Energy, then I think we're alright, because then I just attach the energy to Fez and tell my opponent, hey, figure this one out, and boom, they got the energy, they got Arch Aladdin EX, I kind of figured. Now they definitely have the KO, we're not swinging for weakness. So, I mean, we do have an out this turn, potentially. Actually, though, even if I get boss, I mean, I'm doing 170, which isn't totally enough. It's a little annoying, but it's, I mean, well, I think we're okay, because they're swinging 220. They're not doing much more damage than that with Arch Aladdin, so hopefully we can buy some time for Ceruledge to take a shot. We just need to dodge a boss on Fez. But I feel like a deck like this might be playing Prime Catcher, and, well, we're shutting that down with Ace Nullifier, which helps out an insane amount. So we'll see. This one is closer, though. We definitely had a rougher time going at this, and they are going to research away their hand. I'm surprised they didn't play that Vessel. Get more energy in the discard pile, just in case they want to go in with another Arch Paladin, and we're down all of our stadiums, so that Postwick is there to stay. My opponent is going to Metal Defender for KO. There's really not much I can do about that. I think here, I am going to promote Rotom just to retreat it, get another energy in the discard pile in case that becomes relevant. And we'll hopefully figure something out with this top deck. We are going to get research off the top deck. Do I even play Fez? I think since we top deck research, I actually don't want to play Fezandipiti. Just because I don't want to have my opponent just easily boss KO. I mean, they got 8 cards in hand. I think since we got research, all I do is just rip the research. And I like this. I like this. This is exactly what we needed. I do need the Rod. I do kind of want to try to get another Charcadet down. So I think I'm going to play Rod. Just in case my opponent goes Iona or something, we take what? 1 Charcadet, 1 Fez. I don't even hate taking another Ceruledge. I mean, we got 1 in hand. If they Iona, we know it's still in the deck. I definitely want 1 more Charcadet just in case I need an Ultra Ball for it. How many Ultra Balls did we play? Just 2. Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to take 1 Charcadet, 1 Fezandipiti. I don't want to load the deck too much with stuff I don't need, but I do have Boss's Orders in hand, which is, I believe, what we need to close out this game. So I'm just going to retreat into Ceruledge and see if my opponent has a way to KO my active. I mean, if they do, they do. There's really... I gave it my best go. I'm okay with that, I guess. And they totally could. If they get, what, Zacian down, Arch Paladin, put the energy on it, attach another energy from hand, they can, or actually no, they still would be short 1 energy. They need a Hop's Choice Band to Brave Slash for KO. Since they have all their damage modifiers down at that point, they'll definitely swing for 270 very comfortably. But they're down 2 Hop's Choice Bands, so there's a chance they could only play 2. They might not play a 3rd. I don't know how tight this list is. Honestly, I haven't really played much, but they attach the energy to Duraludon, which tells me my opponent is not going for the Zacian play. They're going to try to do this with Arch Paladin, so they're going to need to retreat, evolve. Yep, there's the retreat. And they need to Iona. If they don't Iona, no, they go Snorlax. There it is. There it is. Not scared of that guy. They're trying to give me a single prize Pokemon to deal with. They probably don't have Arch Paladin in hand or an out to it. So they're trying to wait and set up this guy for the KO. I think we're going to close out the match again unless I see an Iono. But if that's the case, I'll swing. Actually, I don't even think I swing with Ceruledge. I think I just kind of wait. If they Iono. I don't want them to get this Snorlax out of the active if that's the play they go for. And they take out Iron Bundle. Now that is crazy annoying. And they do Hyper Blower. I mean, I'll give you Fan Rotom all day. We got a chance of drawing into an energy. We've got, what, 10 energy played. There's still 8 energy in the deck. Potentially. I mean, unless 1 or 2 of them is prize. So minimum 6 energy in the deck, 11 cards. There's good odds to top deck an energy. It's honestly solid odds to top deck an energy. Again, that's assuming 2 were prized, 6 energy left. So we'll see what we top deck. Energy will win us the game. Ultra Ball, not quite there. That's okay. I think I just Ultra Ball away what? Ceruledge, Carmine. We're going to check how many energy are in the deck. Why did I Ultra Ball away Ceruledge? That might have been pretty dumb. I didn't think that went through. I should have got rid of 2 Carmine, but it's fine. We got 3 Jet, 1 Legacy, 3 basic Fire Energy. So that's what, 7 energy and a rescue board. So 8 cards we could top deck, and that would be game for us. I really don't know why I got rid of the Ceruledge. That was insane. I could have taken Charcadet. Whatever. I'm just not thinking. I'm going to hold the hand. I could Carmine. I could research. I don't think that would do anything. Just give them access to Fez, and I really don't want them to have access to that. I guess I probably should have taken a Pokemon off that. I'm just throwing this game away. We're just going to pass. Again, I know I could research. I could start putting on pressure with Fan Rotom. I don't want to. I'll just wait to top deck an energy. My opponent seems to be in a rough spot. I'm fine with that. And I'll just wait to boss up a Pokemon. We've got, what, 9 energy. We're doing 180 damage plus 30, 210 on the dot, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Is that really 9 times 2? 18, 180, and then plus 30. Yeah, 210 on the dot. That's Latias or Fez for the KO. They got the manual attach onto Duraludon. Or we could actually just boss up Arch Paladin. Not worry about the math because they're weak to fire and they're not going to put that guy back in the active spot to use the attack and shut the weakness down. So I think once we get our energy or rescue board, we're golden. We're good. We got him. So let's see what we top deck. Anything that will get me the game? No, Charcadet. Well, I really wish I kept that Ceruledge. I legitimately have no idea why I didn't take Charcadet. I didn't take Fezandipiti, and I got rid of Ceruledge. It's fine. I'm just throwing this away. Honestly, I think I'm getting hungry. Today at work was nuts. This might have been one of the craziest days I've ever had. I didn't have lunch at all, actually, now that I think about it, and I got dinner in the kitchen cooking while I'm trying to get this video recorded. So I think right now my tummy is speaking and my brain isn't thinking, but that's cool. I mean, it's only match 2. I still got one more match to play, and I'll get it done. I'll be good to go, but for now it is definitely affecting my level of play. I'm one of those people that totally needs to be well satiated. I need to eat to think. You know, if I can't do that, I'm cooked. My opponent is going to Arven for just Ultra Ball. They don't go Hop's Choice Band. That means they can take out Arch Aladdin, but they played Arven, so I don't think... I mean, they can't play Max Belt from their hand. That's an A-Spec. That honestly might be the A-Spec they're playing. If not Prime Catcher, neither of which they could play. But if they played Max Belt, they would swing 270, and that would be terrifying, especially since Rigid Band is on our Genesect, but Genesect does shut that down. So you know what, if my opponent goes Arch Aladdin and puts it in the active spot again, we still have game. So this is what I mean, you know, I think we're all right. They got Snorlax in the active. It does have a free retreat from Latias, but I don't know what my opponent does to get rid of it, and they get rid of Hop's Choice Band and Zacian. Okay, there's no way you play 4 Hop's Choice Band. I don't know why I'm still worried about the Zacian play. They're clearly putting their heart and soul into Arch Aladdin over here. They are going to use Assemble Alloy. They can take 2 energy and put it down on their other Arch Aladdin. I mean, it doesn't really do anything, but, I mean, it's a solid play. And they'll retreat, swing into Fan Rotom. They played their Arven. They can't go Counter Catcher. We're tied on prize cards. Yeah, they just Metal Defender. Boom, game. I mean, even with all the misplays, we're still cooking my opponent. Zero worry, obviously. I knew we would be chilling. Genesect is just here. There's nothing you can do about this Genesect. It's a nutty tech in so many decks right now, and this is why we saved the boss. I have the energy down. I think we just bring up Arch Aladdin in case my math fails me, and the weakness will save me. I don't feel like figuring out if I swing 210, and I did. I'm swinging 420, which means you divide that by 2, 210 damage. I was taking out Fez or Latias. We just sat patiently, waited, did our thing, boom. Match 2 Zacian decks, 1 Frostlass Monkey Dory Zacian, 2nd Arch Aladdin Zacian, gone. Just because they're weak to fire, I think kind of proves how we deal with Gold Dengo. It's just that. And hey, it worked. I'll see y'all in match number 3. Welcome to match number 3. It's not often, I say, we open up with an awful, potentially unplayable hand. However, I mean, here we are. We've done it. We made it this far, so that's good. I'm actually just going to attach the energy to the active to retreat and at least get the Charcadet down. Honestly, I mean, we'll figure it out. It's not going to be pretty. What am I prize checking for? Legacy's in the deck. Okay, yeah, sorry. I'm a little all over the place. I actually just finished recording an episode of the Battle VIPs podcast that's up at the same time as this episode. So if you haven't seen the Battle VIPs podcast, go do it. We now have our own channel for the most epic podcast like ever for the Pokemon TCGs. So go check it out. And 2, it's a day later since the first 2 matches. So I think I'm 2-0. I don't remember if I'm 1-1 or 2-0. It was a crazy day at work today, and then recording the podcast and everything. I'm sitting here now, loaded up the first game. I'm like, what could go wrong? We're playing Ceruledge. If I've ever built a deck for consistency, is this one. And then, boom, I was met with a unfortunate start. But I mean, I knew we'd be alright. You know, it's just the deck is like that. We're up against Goldengo Dragapult, which is pretty scary. I'm not gonna play the other Fan Rotom. Losing Pal Pad is miserable, but I mean, hey, you know what? It happens. Honestly, I'll take the Rigid Band too. We'll get that guy down nice and early for now. I am gonna Ultra Ball away 2 energy cards, and I'm gonna take not Charcadet. Oh my god, that would be throwing. Maybe I should have taken the Genesect so I could attach the tool and stop their A-Specs and everything, but I don't think I'm swinging for KO. Yeah, I'm just swinging for 150, which is pretty good. Pretty good, right? And we're gonna top deck research. I mean, come on, like why am I stressing? We're all right. We got this. We got this in the bag. My opponent has nothing in hand. They got Iona. They got 4 copies of Iona in hand. I lied. They actually got Ultra Ball. Yeah, I totally lost like my whole flow and what happened. I don't even remember what what I played against yesterday. I remember... Oh, actually, was it the double Zacian? I don't know. You guys know. You're watching the video. You guys are probably thinking I'm insane right now, but whatever. I mean, we're here for a good time. Seriously, go check out the Battle VIPs podcast episode. It was a ton of fun to run. Ton of fun to record. Always a good time on the pod. And my opponent just passes. They use 1 coin bonus and pass. Awesome. I'll definitely take... I think I can predict the future. That was nuts. Oh my gosh. And... not to mention, we also get a phenomenal hand. Where here, I think what I want to do is get rid of the energy. And I think I actually want to take 2 more energy. I'm going to get rid of... Do I get rid of Jamming Tower here? I don't know what tools my opponent plays. I kind of like keeping... No, I guess I really don't need another energy in my hand. How many energy? I don't remember how many are in the deck. I'll check after this. We got a rod if I need an energy or 2 back. I'm going to take Genesect. I want to shut down their ace spec before I got to worry about that. We got 4 Fire Energy, essentially, counting Legacy Energy left, which is good because I want to get more Ceruledge in play. However, right now, I really want to get a Genesect down with the Bravery Charm so I can stop Energy Search Pro on first stamp. Whatever it is my opponent is running, I want to just get rid of it. So we'll swing for 210 damage, which is awesome damage. And now, next turn, as long as I can get down another Charcadet, and we have Ultra Ball to get that down. Oh my gosh. Guys, this was the worst hand I'd ever seen. And we're cooking. Cooking with fire. Cooking with Abyssal Flame. Make it rain. Goldengo's in the active spot. My opponent plays Night Stretcher, bring back the Fezandipiti. I think I finally got my flow back. They can flip the script for 3. Coin bonus for up to 5 cards this turn. Even if they get the Energy Search Pro, it's not going to do them much since we got the Genesect down with Bravery Charm. They are going to have to gust that guy up and take the KO, and they get another Goldengo down to draw 1 more card. Now, I have 300 HP because of, to get 1 shot because of Rigid Band. I don't think that's going to be too relevant in this matchup. I think my opponent is still going to need the same amount of cards in hand, and they go for the Arven Energy Search Pro. That's awesome. You can't play that Ace spec because I have Ace Nullifier Genesect in play, so I'm just going to let you figure that one out while I sit here and torture Goldengo in the following turn because I don't think you have 6 energy in hand like that. And you're just going to go for the Make It Rain. You attach a TM Evo. Do you actually have all that energy in play? Am I gonna? I mean, that'd be pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. I would talk all the smack to get destroyed. And no, you have 1 energy. Oh, good night streaks. Good night streaks. Yeah, that's it. It's a wrap. It's a wrap for my opponent right now. I'm getting rid of Jamming Tower. I'm getting rid of Carmine. Give me the Charcadet. They scoop. This Genesect, man. I love this bug where they stay on the screen. Those 2 cards, they were meant to stay there. There we go. Yeah, we were going to smack them, go up 4 prize cards. I think we were walking through that match number 3. That was an insanely fast recording for that match. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Charcadet, Genesect, that's why I'm playing the Genesect. I mean, that thing just wins games like crazy. It is so disruptive. Honestly, I think it cracks the Goldengo matchup. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I definitely had a ton of fun recording it, and since it's just on my mind so much, go check out the Battle VIPs podcast channel. It's got its own channel now. Go show it some love. First episode on the channel is up, and it would mean the world if you guys could go just check out what's going on over there. With that being said, stay epic. Peace.